In today's video, we are going to talk about a nice rejection which happened near the Atom coin. So without further delay, let's see what's going on with it today. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to the channel, and we are back with Atom coin, where we see after this magnificent breakout which happened and stopped just near $12, price is most likely going towards this same broken zone, of course retesting and hopefully getting rejected from this retest and pushing up to the higher zones. So now zooming in, what's catching our attention is a potential crossover of 100 EMA and 200 EMA. So this is the 200 EMA here and this is the 100 EMA. Now another slightly interesting point is actually this candlestick here, where after this nice breakout which happened here, price actually retested already this zone but pushed further up. Although when we zoom out, we wouldn't say that this would count as a retest, as retest should be something like breakout from here and a nice slow oval or round movement to this zone here, so something like this. Now, although we got rejected from this zone here, which has been acting as a resistance line for now, where price has been outside in overbought zone on the Bollinger Bands indicator, as you can see. So zooming in, you can see that we have been outside here once, twice, another candle closed and opened outside, and then movement to potentially towards this middle line of Bollinger Bands. So now that we have approached the middle line of Bollinger Bands, we see that price is getting slightly pushed away, meaning a potential retest to that same zone of resistance and also the upper side of the Bollinger Bands. So for us, actually, the game plan is very simple. We might see some kind of movement again to these upper zones, potentially this zone here, or even slightly below, but the perfect setup for us would be, of course, if we see a nice clean retest to this zone here, then maybe some kind of struggle, as you can see, drawn here, and a nice push to that same zone here. So although we are not going to rush with any kind of like positions as of now, as currently we are just hovering basically near this zone here, which is acting as resistance support. It's not so clear, to be honest. As of now, it's acting like most likely the resistance as it broke on the daily time frame, but it's too close to this middle line of Bollinger Bands, so it's hard to tell if it is acting as a support or resistance. So what we are going to do actually is we are going to wait for this zone. So let me draw some circles for you, meaning the best entry points for us would be something near this zone here, which would be a potentially, let me draw it in this color. So potentially this zone here, or actually even this zone here, if price decides to move to this upper side here. Now, one more point of view for us is actually this zone here. So now, to give a little bit better view, what we are going to wait is first scenario, movement to this zone, some kind of struggle, and a potential, no, it's short position, and a potential long position opening towards, of course, this upper side or the major resistance line for the Atom coin, with a very tight stop loss, of course. As you can see, we might see that there might be a failure in this retest and we might go for this lower side of this zone. If we see any kind of movement like this, then of course we would long from this, and again with very tight stop loss, something like this. And also target would be as small as well, as we would move here and then some kind of movement like this most likely. But we won't wait for this kind of scenario. The major scenario for us is movement here, potential movement to upper zones, and then the second scenario, which is going to be a short position from this zone here, again with very tight stop loss, not this tight actually, but something like this, and a movement towards this time this zone here, which is basically this zone, so this line here, and of course this line here as well. which is marked as the major zone, which is going to be acting as a support zone for the Atom coin. And the third scenario, which we haven't driven yet, is actually this kind of movement. If we see, of course, some kind of push towards this zone here, then we will most likely going to short from here towards this zone here. So again, potential opening of the short position, tight stop loss, most likely something like this, and then a nice movement to this zone. So right now it's very colorful, so let me take away a few of the lines here so you get the better understanding. And let's remove this one as well. So removing these ones here, this one and this one as well. So once again, first scenario, of course, slight movement to lower zones and a potential long from here. Afterwards, a potential short from this zone here towards the $9.5 basically. Or if we see any kind of significant movement to upper zones, meaning from this middle line of Bollinger Bands, which is going to push out, we will see most likely some kind of resistance here and then a nice clean retest to that same broken zone, not this kind of retest. So not to stretch this video any longer, we think that this view is pretty clear. We have three kind of scenarios basically, or let's say two kind of scenarios, because this would be the first target, or the first scenario, this would be the second scenario, and this would be like the continue of this scenario here. So as always, if you like this video about Atom Coin and this a little bit more detailed overview, feel free to like, share and subscribe. And as always, stay sharp and trade safe. See you in the next session.